I just want to quickly go over the Asia session longs that I just took, uh, and then get that done for the evening. Anyways, we had talked about earlier, right? Quarterly, um, right? We were talking about how we had this SMT, um, right? And then if we went down to like on the weekly time frame, we had this, excuse me, weekly SMT, right? And I believe it was on monthly, right? We had this gap down here, right? That we were talking about. Right, SMT and the gap. This wick never reached the gap, so it's like SMT filled GXT. That's what we were referring to. So, anyways, and then during Aza's session, right, we can see here we ended up getting a two-stage uh, SMT, PSP, whatever GXT would call it. But anyways, basically we had that monthly SMT, and then Asia opened right um, on NQ swept previous day low, and then we can see here on YM that did not occur, right? We did not end up taking previous day low, but where the two stage comes in here is where we get the confirmation, right? Because we already had this SMT, right? And then we end up getting this one here, right? So we end up getting the 4 hour, which is what we end up taking. GXT took this on YM. Obviously, it's the stronger asset with the protected low. I ended up taking it on NQ because I wasn't really looking to like take a trade. I just happened to catch it. Um, so anyways, took first entry on my prop account, um, which was here. I can back it up and show the reasonings. Here we go. Just go to previous day out here. Right, so we can see here's where Asia, right? So Asia opens, correct PO3, it opens low, right? Even within here, 15 opens low, 30 opens low, right? Um, So anyways, right? So we open low into the SMT, right? And then we create this V-shaped recovery, so to speak. But because this has been rebalanced, right? We know, and again, 30 could have been taken. I was watching. I wanted to see what was going to happen, right? 30 CSD'd here, right? And then I believe, let me just double check. I ended up taking my entry, yeah, here on the rebalance of the to the opening price. Right here. So I ended up taking when we hit here, I ended up buying. So I entered 37. Let me go like this. Excuse me. And then let me see where I was. Oh yeah, I think because I was on the prop and I was just looking for. I think when like YM. Let me see because I'll have to see where my other. Oh no, yeah. Sorry, I scaled here. Whoops. Let me grab that. I scaled out. Sorry. At the top of, I believe here, if I'm not mistaken, because um I felt we might run, and this was enough for the consistency rule. So then I ended up getting on my cash account, and then let me see what that entry was. That was here. Oh yeah. Then I closed out and I entered because I saw we were building this. We were consolidating, right? But obviously you can't reverse from consolidation, right? And we were consolidating on this high, right? So obviously continuation or I felt expansion was obviously going to continue because we're going from external to internal, right, on the higher time frame. So anyway, so closed out and then waited for the closure here of oops, put this out, sorry. Waited for the closure of here. This was 42. So waited for the closure to validate this OB and then just entered on the cash account with my stop below right there. And then let's see, where did I? And then I ran this to do. What was this? I was in light, obviously. I was in 3, and then I put a sell stop at 2 at this. Let's see. Yeah, here. like this. I did that at this high. And yeah, I could have held. Obviously, I was anticipating we were going to continue up, right? But obviously, like because I didn't like have it set up before, and like really it was like looking to take this trade. I was just trying, obviously, like moving from account to account, just taking a piece of it, which ended up working out fine. And then obviously when this was really not that big of an RR because obviously this was a balanced price, so we weren't coming back. So obviously we'll just consolidate to then run out this low resistance here, right? So then I ended up closing that, and then I still wanted to monitor it, and so then let me see here, and so then I ended up just going in on it with paper. What was this 9 here? Yeah, 915. Oops. Yeah, here 915 because this right rebalanced to EQ, right? Where is it? There we go. Right, and I was monitoring here, right? Because we rebalanced, right? Previous X, this expansion, right? So this is the correct PO3, it's an open low, but because we rebalanced, right? Technically 15, it doesn't need to remanipulate, right? So we end up expanding here, right? And then we put in this 3 candle model, right? But look where it's at on opening price, and this is just the expansion, right? Because we CSD here first, and obviously YM is going to continue, right? So I end up entering on the closure of what was it? Right here. I entered on, oh yeah. So I entered here, sorry. Like this. Again, paper. I was in, or I think I was in actually a little early because I added, I believe. But it's still, yeah. So anyways, then I scaled out. So I was just watching for this to run to these highs up here, right? These relative equal highs. But then we ended up reaching where to go. Here we ended up taking previous day high. Or wait, where did I end up closing out, and then I ended up taking the end back on the cash account. So let me see where I transitioned that. I ran this paper, scaled out. Oh yeah, here. When we took previous day high, and then I left one runner. Oh yeah, right here. Oh yeah, I did 3 and 3 at 9:15. That's right. I see the entries now. I did 3 here, and then yeah, and then I ended up doing 3 here inside the fair value gap. Yeah, so then I ended up putting it right here, and then I scaled. How many was that? I scaled 4 here when we took previous day EQ. That's this purple line. And even though we took it, I just wanted to scale, right? Because we had cleared this high here. And this was kind of what I was targeting. And then obviously we consolidated. So I kept one. And then when we ended up coming up here, I ended up scaling the rest out and left one. And then I ended up putting my stop. I put my stop down here, and then we ended up coming back to it. But that was the paper, and then just now I did a recording, so but I'll do a run through real quick. Let me speed this up real quick. So yes, I ended up running this and then scaling out here like this. Ended up coming back. This, yeah. Okay, yeah, perfect. And then I just took this on my back on the cash account. Right, we end up taking previous day high on YM, which was the internal range, right? But we consolidating, right? We can't reverse from consolidation, so we end up putting in right this piece of price action, and then I was just waiting, and then I ended up just going like 2 micros. Obviously, you don't need much, right? So I waited here, And then I ended up entering, yeah, 45 because 30 rebalanced, right? So we have this SMT currently, right? Or at the time, right? But open low, right? So 30, correct PO3, CSD OB with the opening price. So because this is already taking care of it, right? 40 can just expand, or sorry, 45 can just expand. So anyways, once we got this CSD, right? And we can see here where we are, YM is obviously going to run for this high, right? So obviously NQ is going to continue and follow, right? So once 30 ends up closing here, then I just got in right here, targeting, excuse me, this high here, and that was it. That was, let me just put that on there here, like so. So anyways, that was all of the Asia longs that I took. And the reality is right, like if this was entered on prop, could have left it for previous day high, right? Or cash your cash count, you can leave it, right? Or whatever the case may be. But right, like even though these are all individual trades, they are technically just continuation trades because I changed accounts, right? But what's important to note is like even if you do that, right, you can't just fire back in. Like you still have to wait for right correct PO3s and time to align with price in order to have validation that it's still going to continue in favor of the draw, right? So, anyways, that's that, and we will see what's popping in the morning. So, anyways, thanks.